Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the new screensavers is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. The new screensavers is brought to you by Braintree. Looking to set up payments for your business? Braintree gives your app or website a payment solution that accepts just about every payment method with one easy integration. Plus, Braintree will give you the first $50,000 in transactions fee-free. To learn more, visit BraintreePayments.com/NSS. And by IT Pro TV. A good IT Pro is always learning, and IT Pro TV is the resource to keep your IT skills up to date with engaging and informative video tutorials. For a free 7-day trial and 30% off the lifetime of your account, go to itpro.tv/NSS and use the code NSS30. And by Texture, the mobile app that lets you access the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere, using your phone or tablet. For your free 30-day trial, visit texture.com/NSS.
Hot video games for the new season. Kids get their code on. And a 3D scanner you 3D print. Live from the Twit Brick House in beautiful downtown Petaluma, it's the new Screensavers.
Winton Churchill, not Winston, Winton Churchill for that show up. And nice job. Love the shirt. Winton is from Huatulco in Oaxaca, Mexico. He also spends half the year in San Miguel de Allende. And his shirt is from a friend who makes beautiful shirts in Mexico with Mexican movie stars. I love that.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? Hey, it's Aaron Newcomb. Hello,
hey.
Aaron.
Hey, good to be here.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's your second time.
First time.
You've never done this show?
I've never done this show.
Oh, I must have been dreaming.
Yeah.
Oh, well, welcome. It's good to have you.
I think I've done all the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not this one.
Aaron works for NetApp.
Yes.
But he's also a regular on All About Android. We've had you on Twig, Floss Weekly.
Yep.
So it's really good to have you.
Yeah.
This is episode 31 for December 5th, 2015. I am Leo Laporte, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Coming up, you're a maker.
Yes.
And you built with your 3D printer, this is a little inception, a 3D scanner, so you can 3D print things you 3D scan.
That's right.
It's all...
Why not?
Yeah, it's like
Why
Ouroboros. It's a snake eating its tail. That's good. Laura Hawkinson's back from the Next Web. She's going to talk about hot video games for the holiday season. We take a look at a really popular computer, the Pi Zero. So hot it's sold out. I know you wanted to get one.
I didn't even get to get one. So.
Oh, and we're going to answer tech questions. But the topic of the hour is really a good one, one near and dear to both of our hearts,
Yes,
the Hour of Code. And joining us right now from Code.org, Chief Academic Officer Pat Young-Pradit. Hey, Pat, welcome.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Great to have you. So is this a yearly event, the Hour of Code?
This is. It's going into its third year, and so far we have about 190,000 events registered all across the world.
Oh, that's
Nice.
exciting. What are you trying to accomplish with the Hour of Code?
We're just trying to demystify what computer science and coding is all about. And so, the Hour of Code is not meant to turn people into professional coders or software engineers or computer scientists. It's really just meant to show that computer science can be fun and they can do it.
In an hour?
In an hour, that's right. So we have a 50 plus tutorials, self-guided, that kids can do, parents can do, anyone can do. Actually, we say that people from age 4 to 104. I can't see on the site right now, but that's our age range. Really, anyone should be able to do an hour of code. And so we have promotional partners like Star Wars and Minecraft. Kids can actually now code a Minecraft scenario if they want to. They can use block programming, which is graphical, or they can use text, like probably we've learned. And they can learn in the end that they can learn the basics of computer science and coding in just an hour.
It's pretty impressive. And the goal is, as you said, not to make somebody a coder, although I'm sure some percentage of the people who get introduced to coding will become coders.
Right.
Hopefully.
But obviously in an hour you can't become a coder. What are you trying to accomplish?
In the end, we want kids to go beyond an hour of code. So the hour of code is meant to produce more hours of code, days of code, weeks of code, months of code, years of code, and whatever. And if kids decide to get into the software engineering field, great, wonderful for them. But really what they need to understand is that computer science can help them pursue any interest or any passion they're interested in.
This is such a great time to learn to code.
Absolutely.
There's so many places, including code.org, that you can go. There's so many apps. We're going to see one in a little bit that you can use on your iPad.
Yep.
It's a magical time.
It is. It's easier than ever. We use code.org specifically a lot at the Makerspace for people that come and they say, well, I've done some things, but the programming part, I don't know. And this really gets people over the hump. It breaks that barrier to entry and just gets them started. Here's something simple you can do. And especially for kids, when you throw in Star Wars or Minecraft now, like they've done this year, it really gets them thinking in a different way. It's like, okay, here's a familiar setting. I know Minecraft, I love Minecraft, but now you can actually interact with the game and change the game and do things that you haven't done before. And it really, when you see a kid especially start to interact with programming in this way, it starts to really open their mind up to new possibilities. And that's what's so exciting, at least for me.
Pat, give me some language to get a kid involved in this. What should I tell our 13-year-old Michael that's going to get him excited? He plays Minecraft. He loves Minecraft.
Well, so Minecraft is one way to do it. So, Minecraft is you guys know, kids go bonkers over Minecraft, both boys and girls, actually. So that's why it's so powerful to partner with Microsoft and Minecraft this year. But really, even if it's not Minecraft, there's something for anyone there. And so what I would tell a kid is, actually, most kids have smartphones these days. And so I'd say, have you ever wanted to create an app? Have you ever wanted to see what it's like to make a game? Well, all that's required is something called coding. Let me show you how you can code. And some of our tutorials are all about creating apps and games. So I'd point them in that direction, or I'd point them in, if they're an artist, I'd point them in some of our more artistic hour of code tutorials. There's lots of stuff for everyone.
That's a really important point. It's not just about writing computer code. All programs involve a variety of skills, and different kids and different adults even might have different abilities, different interests. If you're an artist, there's plenty of space, plenty of room for you in this, right?
Yeah. So there's a Khan Academy tutorial that's all about creating art using code. There's a famous language built out of, I think it's Python or JavaScript. It might actually be both, or is it Java? But it's called processing, and it's all about creating art. And some really cool stuff being done at a school called High Tech High in San Diego. Some really cool like art plus programming stuff happening.
That's so cool. Now, if you're a teacher, I imagine you want to get every teacher in the world to participate in this. How can they get started?
Well, we did have signups where
is it too late?
Teacher. Well, no. Okay, so no, it's not too late, because actually Computer Science Education Week, the Hour of Code actually hasn't even happened yet.
Right.
And we have millions of people participating already, because we launched the tutorials, I think, a month ago. But Computer Science Education Week, of which Hour of Code is a part of, starts on December 7th and goes to the 13th. Folks can just go to the Hour of Code website and share the website with their students, and students can just pick a tutorial that they like. Now, beforehand, we had a sign up, and that's where the 190,000 events came from. And if you signed up, you got a chance at a $10 gift card from Amazon or Microsoft. These are our sponsors, some of our many sponsors, actually. Apple, by the way, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Apple, I think this is the second or third year they're doing this. They're holding an Hour of Code workshop in every single store worldwide.
That's great.
Yeah,
so if my kid's school isn't participating, although it sounds like it's pretty unlikely, but if my kid's school isn't participating, take them down to the Apple store and they can play along there.
Or the Microsoft store.
Or the Microsoft store.
Yep.
That's really fantastic. Third year in, what's next for next year? Where do you want to go with this?
Well, I'll tell you where it's already going. It's going all over the world. So this happened in our first year already, but this year there's some really amazing stories about folks who are taking up the hour of code, places that you wouldn't expect, refugee camps, war-torn areas, places like Nigeria, Syria, Afghanistan. Actually, if you zoom in on some of these places, you'll see some of these events being held. There's even, I think, a country called Cocos Island. Entire population is 650, and the entire population plans to participate.
Right on.
You have countries like Italy and Russia, that have like centralized education systems, federalized education systems, and they're asking every single school in the nation to participate. So in Russia, that's like 20 million kids. And then you have places like Malta, or you even have places that don't want to say that they're doing an hour of code. So we have this place in the Middle East, and it's a secret, but they've told us that they're doing an hour of code, but they want to keep it private because it's going to be a girls-only hour of code. And they're afraid of the government finding out and arresting the participating women and girls.
Oh, man.
So that's really touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you have a video of Malala on the site, along with the president and many other celebrities and figures, encouraging people to get
It was really
involved.
great doing an hour of code with the president last year.
Yeah.
This year there's a bunch of other events as well.
One thing that really disappoints me, and I saw this on your stats page, is that in the United States, only 27 states count computer science courses towards graduation. In California, it's an elective.
Right.
There are currently, as you say on your website, 604,000 unfilled computing jobs nationwide, but only 38,000 computer science students graduating into the workforce. So this is a great thing for schools to, I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, it turns you into a creator, not a consumer. There's all sorts of great reasons non-professionally to do this, but in addition, it's a great job.
Yeah, and there's huge reasons professionally, especially just getting kids to demystify coding. So to understand that kids will, take a look at this and not be like, oh, that's some mystical world where somebody else lives.
Yeah.
They can understand it and they can use it in their everyday jobs, and that's important to get that point across now, so that when they get older and they get out in the workforce, it's there ready
I
for them
love
to
coding.
pick
I
it
do
up
it
and
as a
use it.
hobby, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Pat, I know a lot of teachers are intimidated. They say, well, I don't know enough to be able to teach an hour of code. Do you have resources for them so that they can do this?
Sure. If you go to the Hour of Code website, I think right along the top there's a how-to section. If you go to the how-to section, it tells you how to do it. There's a video, there are guides, there are lesson plans, but really there are tutorials that don't even require an internet connection and don't require a computer as well.
That's great.
So even if you don't have a computer, you can do an hour of code, because it's something we call unplugged computer science, where it's about computer science, but not with a computer. It's pretty amazing.
Next week, the Computer Science Week, the Hour of Code, and everybody should visit code.org and find out more. And it doesn't have to be in your school. You can do it as a parent. Right. You could do it as a kid, for a sibling. Let's get everybody at least exposed to coding. And I think, go ahead.
Yeah, and Leo, this Hour of Code, it happens during Computer Science Education Week, but I mean, this computer science phenomenon is pretty, it's growing exponentially all over the nation. There are states who are creating statewide plans, like Arkansas has a statewide plan to put computer science in every single K-8 school statewide. That's pretty amazing. So it's much more than just an hour of code. We hold the Hour of Code so that becomes hours and days and weeks and years of code, and that it leads to larger things. So it's not just about an hour of code, but it is a place to start.
I think it's so great. I want to thank you for your time. Pat Young-Pratt is Chief Academic Officer at code.org, doing the good work to get people exposed to coding.
Yeah.
One of the most fun things you can do with a computer, I think. Thanks, Pat.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it. One of the reasons people want to learn to code is Raspberry Pi. They've got a Arduino or a Pi or something, and they want it to do something more than it can do out of the box. This is an amazing thing we've got right here. Raspberry Pi, the folks at Raspberry Pi announced that they were going to bundle a Raspberry Pi in the Pi Magazine.
Yes, the Magpie Magazine, yep.
And this is a $5 complete system on a chip computer, right?
That's right.
Everything you need including this is that HDMI and HDMI port?
Yep.
There's power via USB, micro USB. Storage, you can even, we've got a keyboard and a mouse hooked up to the second USB
Right.
port. This is amazing. I can't believe we got this.
Yeah, this is a real steal because these are actually sold out everywhere. People in the U.S. are in luck because there's a delay in getting the Magpie magazine to the U.S. So if you keep your eyes out, go to your local Barnes & Noble if you have one, you might be able to pick one. I have been haunting my local Barnes & Noble already.
Yeah.
But you might be able to pick one of these up. And this is amazing. I posted this on my Google Plus page.
$5.
I can't believe we've come to the point where you buy the magazine and you get the computer essentially for free with the magazine.
I used to say
That's
this
crazy.
as a joke, that someday you'd get a computer in a cereal box.
Yeah,
It's here.
It's here.
It's
This
here.
is it. This is it.
So this has
$5.
got GPIO pins. You can solder in GPIO devices
right.
so that you could do. I mean, this isn't as powerful as the $35 Raspberry.
It's not as powerful as the $35 Raspberry Pi 2, but it's more powerful than the original Raspberry
Wow.
Pi,
Oh,
and it
wait a
has
minute.
twice as much memory.
You're kidding.
No. So this is, you can actually do a lot with this. One of the things that I kind of want to try is Make Magazine had actually, they bundled these up as throwies. You've heard of LED throwies?
Yeah.
You just put a battery on an LED and just throw it. You can basically do the same thing with this now. You could create a mesh network, take 4 or 5 of these, go to your park where you're having a party or something, throw them around the park, right? And then you've got a mesh Wi-Fi network that everybody can connect to and do whatever they want with.
It's
So
hysterical.
it is.
We
It's
booted
really
it up here on this screen. This is the Pi OS. It's basically a variant of Linux, right?
Yes, it is. It runs Linux, and in fact, you can. We talked about educational games. There are educational games built in. Minecraft Pi is one, or PiCraft, and then there's some Python games that you can do. So one of the things when people come to me and they say, "Okay, I got this thing because it was super cheap."
But what do I do
What
with
do
it?
I do with it?
Right.
Well, if there's a child involved, a youngster, one of the things they can do right away is they can play Minecraft. And it's a different version of Minecraft. It's based on the Pocket Edition, but you can get in there and you can build stuff and play with things, and it runs very, very fast, even on the Pi Zero. It'll run very
But don't think of this really as a replacement for your desktop
It is
computer.
not.
What it is it's a device that you can use to build other things
Exactly.
with. The operating system is on a micro SD card. You would download it, put it on the SD card, then boot up on the system.
Exactly.
Wow, that is amazing. That's
And there's
the micro SD.
the
right
great thing about this, we've talked to, I'm sure you've talked to the folks at Chip, doing the Chip computer,
Yeah,
the
we've had 'em on
$9
the show,
computer.
yeah.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
And so, the great thing about this, the amazing thing about it is only $5. Eben Upton says they're going to break even on this at least, or they're not worried about making money on it. They're doing fine with it, he
So
says.
great.
It's almost inconceivable to imagine having this much computing power and this much possibility in a $5 computer. It really is incredible. There's people that have put these inside the original Xbox controller, for example, because it'll fit inside. It fits inside so many things, even better than the Model A, which was already tiny.
There's smaller computers?
There are. In fact, do you remember the one I brought, the Onion computer? Is a little bit small. It's about half the size of this, but it's $30.
Right.
Right.
So it's really the price that makes this
Price
exciting.
is just
Yeah.
amazing.
So
And-
affordable, you might have 10 of them.
Right. You can
Throw 'em around the
literally
park.
afford to forget them, right? I mean, I take it to the party, I forgot it. It's more expensive for me to drive back to my friend's house to pick it up than it is to just buy a new one.
And this is what's powering the Internet of Things, is the
right.
fact that a computer can be small, inexpensive,
Yep.
and can be
Put it in
anything.
anything. Yep.
But like with our hour of code, this is really all about being a maker and about taking this, not playing the games, not using the operating system, but making something of this. And Make Magazine's going to have a lot of information. There's the Make article. In fact, I'm putting a Raspberry Pi inside a Xbox controller.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
Great stuff.
Pi also has the idle Python IDE on it, so you could Python 3. So you
Python, and just that's
can
another
write great code in there.
That's another thing that's exciting about this platform versus something like an Arduino is you can use pretty much any language you want, right? Python, Java, Go, you name it, Perl. Right. We got to throw that in there for
Larry
Randall.
Wall was on a couple of weeks ago. We got to say Perl.
So you can program it anything you want. So this is really a great platform, not only to begin with, but then also to go beyond the simple stuff that kids might do and really get into some serious.
What are you going to do with yours when you get it?
Oh, what am I not going to do with it? Right.
You've done a lot with Pi. I mean, I
I've
remember
done a
you
lot,
had the
yeah.
old-time radio that you put a
That's right.
streaming device in. And
Yep. That the
gaming
Raspberry
box
Pi
you
old-time
built.
radio, the gaming box that's
Yeah.
built on RetroPie that plays over 3,000 games.
But I like the idea of putting this in a Internet of Things type, like
Absolutely.
a ball or something. I
Yes,
think that's
yes.
very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, look for the Magpie magazine at your newsstand. They haven't come to the newsstands yet.
They haven't come to the newsstands yet.
Haunt Barnes and
Start
Noble.
calling your Barnes and Noble today, and if you can find one, pick up a copy for me.
And that's talking about a collision of cultures. Newsstands, $5 computers.
Yeah.
Not going to exist at the same time very much longer.
That's right.
Take
That's
advantage of the conjunction.
Get it while they're still in existence.
Get them while they exist.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a call for help?
Yeah, let's
we
do
got
it.
one. Let's
Let's
go.
do
And on the line with us from San Diego, hey, and MovieWallas.com, it's Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey there, Leo. How you doing?
What is Movie Wallas? I'm guessing it's a film review and banter show.
It is. Yes, it's a shameless plug for our podcast that we've been doing. A couple of friends of mine who are movie critics here in San Diego and myself have been doing a podcast for about 5 years now, 300 episodes in. So
That's
yes,
awesome.
this is our home studio. This is where the action happens.
So I'm looking at MovieWallas.com, and 300 episodes. That's pretty exciting. You talk about Spectre, the new James Bond movie, and the Peanuts movie. See, you're reviewers, so this isn't just reviews. This is where you get to say the things you couldn't put in the review, right?
Well, this is. Yeah, so it's just a podcast. We basically shoot the breeze. We chat with we chat with each other. We have some local film critics that we're friends of, and we just talk about movies.
I love this.
It's a great fun.
I'm a movie
review.
fan, and that's what podcasts really, I think, at their best are about, is just passionate fandom. So
Yep.
this looks really great. I can't wait. But you called us for more than just plugging MovieWallas.com.
I did indeed. Yes. So about a year ago, I think I was listening to one of the shows on Twit and got it into my head that I should never ever connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot without first connecting to a VPN.
You were listening
So-
to Steve Gibson's Security Now, no doubt.
Probably yes. Yeah,
He'll
It was-
scare the hell
it's
out of you.
I think, but I decided that it was probably a good idea. As you can probably tell from the accent, I also I grew up in England, so I have an occasional need to check into the BBC.
And of course the iPlayer is geographically restricted. Yeah.
So I've tried a couple of different services, and I've not really found a good solid VPN that works. I have computers OS 10, I have Windows, I use iOS devices. So I'd ideally like to use one service across all and not pay multiple. I don't mind paying for it, but again, as I look around online, there's so many different reviews, and you type in best VPN, you get to some websites where I think they're more like adverts than actual reviews.
Exactly.
So just wondered if you had any recommendations for a solid VPN service, or if I should even look into setting one up myself at home.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, I want to define kind of what the benefits and the negatives are of a VPN, why you might want to use a VPN. But first, I'm going to go to the website for the Hotspot VPN Tiny Firewall. This is really a cool idea. For $100, you get a hardware device that plugs into your computer, plugs into the hotel or the coffee shop Ethernet or the Wi-Fi, and gives you a hardware VPN connected. So everything you're doing on the internet is going through the hardware VPN. You are getting a Hotspot VPN subscription with this. Actually, now what they're doing is they're giving you the hardware for free when you buy a year's worth of Hotspot VPN. VPN can be hardware or software, but I want to make very clear the difference or what you're getting with a VPN. You mentioned one very important thing, but let's go to our iPad, and here you are in the coffee shop, or maybe you're at a hotel, and you're using your computer, and you're on a local area network. This could also be in your house. The traffic that is coming from your computer and connecting to the local area network at the coffee shop is floating through the air, is visible to another computer, a bad guy sitting in another computer. He can spy on what you're doing. So sometimes people use a VPN to encrypt this traffic. There's also the larger, I think, risk of getting infected because you're on a communal network. Another bad guy on that network has LAN access to your computer, and that can cause a problem. So for that kind of security, I'm going to recommend something a little bit different. This is one example. This is a travel router. This is the AC750 from D-Link. It's battery powered. It'll pick up the Wi-Fi in your hotel or coffee shop, and then will go out via Ethernet to your computer. And basically, it's a router.
Yeah.
So that's going to provide ingress protection against bad guys. In other words, even though you're on a public network, something like this is protecting you against somebody seeing your computer system and trying to hack it. It doesn't protect the data that's flying through the air, but I'll tell you why I'm not too worried about that. Let me go back to the drawing board. We're using an iPad Pro. This is kind of fun. and show you what a VPN does. So the VPN has to use another server. This server can be anywhere in the world. That's one of the advantages of a VPN. And then it connects to the outside world. So if this, for instance, VPN server is in the UK, when you emerge from the VPN network, you're emerging in the UK. You can use the BBC iPlayer because it thinks you're in the UK. Your data is encrypted not only inside the LAN, but also in the outside world on the wide area network, right up to the VPN. But then it comes out into the public internet and is no longer encrypted. So you're still in a situation where your data it can be viewed publicly over this connection. It has to be because the servers you're going to don't understand VPN. They don't understand the encrypted connection. So I think it's important to understand the benefits of a VPN. This is not going to help this drawing I've just made, but I think it's important to understand the benefits of the VPN. When it comes to privacy, it's only protecting you locally and right up to the VPN server. After that, you've got the same privacy you'd have if you were on the public internet anywhere else. So anybody can spy on you here and look at what you're doing because it's now unencrypted. So I think for privacy, you're still going to rely on the fact that the servers at your bank and Amazon are encrypted and encrypted the whole way. And that means you don't need a VPN for that. The real benefit of the VPN, especially for you, is that you want to emerge in a different part of the world. And for that, I'll have to say one of the problems with VPNs is they tend to slow things down because you're going through an extra layer. I like the hardware VPN because it's less likely to slow you down, but you're still going to see some slowdown. And since it's video you want to watch from the iPlayer, it could be problematic.
You're relying on the bandwidth there at the UK side. You're relying on their bandwidth at that point.
Not yours.
And also you're encrypting the traffic, and anytime you encrypt traffic, it's going to slow it down because you can't compress it.
I think the encryption is unnecessary. Unless you're really paranoid about the local environment, that somebody's seeing what you're doing, and as long as you're on, you should always be using encrypted email. Gmail encrypts not only the password, not only the login, but all of the data. You should always be using a service like that. If your ISP doesn't encrypt email, doesn't encrypt the login, it doesn't matter. You could be compromised out here as well as compromised inside the WAN. So I think it's really important to understand the limits of a VPN. But for what you're describing, for geographic restrictions, that's about the only way you can do it. I mean, it's basically by saying, I'm going to use a server, I'm going to enter the public internet in some other country.
That's right.
ProXPN, a longtime sponsor, does this. Most VPNs will do this. But I like the idea of using the tiny firewall. I feel like you get the protection of the hardware router, plus you're getting a little bit faster VPN because it's done in the hardware. There's ProXPN, one of our sponsors. But I'm going to tell you to take a look at tinyhardwarefirewall.com. And again, if it's merely for ingress protection, a router, I always carry this with me. A travel router is really great. It also will take an Ethernet link and make it Wi-Fi. It goes in both directions.
Right.
This is a battery, so you can use it to charge phones. It also means it doesn't have to be plugged in. It's a little doohickey. This is the AC750. It's under $100, I think. From
great for makers too.
D-Link. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's lots of uses.
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. We talked about the little throwy, right? So that could be.
This could be your throwy.
That could be the source of the Wi-Fi for
the
your
source
throwies.
for your mesh.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
Coffee shop hack scenario isn't something I should be worried about generally. I mean, I do, I go there and I do some online banking and
just be aware of what you're doing. Just understand that everything I'm doing in the coffee shop is visible to a bad actor sitting there. And if there are problems, remember the what was it, sheep exploit. I can't remember the name of it, but this was one where, because of the way Facebook was working, you could steal a cookie from Facebook, and somebody could pose as you
right.
in a shop. The good news was, because of this Firesheep exploit, people became very aware of it. There it is, Firesheep. HTTPS now is widely used by everyone, including Facebook. As long as you're on an HTTPS site, I think you're as secure as a VPN, even better because it's point to point. It's from you all the way to Facebook. That's better than a VPN. Same thing with email. And do you really care if somebody sees you're going to lingscars.com? I don't think that doesn't matter as much, right? So as long as you make sure that every banking transaction, every purchase, every credit card transaction, and your email, those things are on HTTPS, which increasingly is the case, I don't worry so much about open Wi-Fi access spots. But you just got to remember, anybody can see what you're doing unless you're on an HTTPS.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree?
I completely agree, and I wanted to throw in too that if you are going to go with a VPN solution, for example, I use private internet access at home. If you are going to go with a VPN solution for something like you were describing when you want to go, make it appear as you're in the UK or something like that, I think it's important to trust that provider as well.
That's right, because they can see everything you're doing.
They can see everything you're doing, and they can get hacked, right? So if someone were to go to your provider and hack them, they can get some of your information as well. Whatever that provider is logging from your connection, they can get access to that. So I always try to say, look, it's important to trust your end provider for VPN as well. And so the device that you were talking about, for example, you would want to trust the person running
Hotspot
that
VPN.
Private internet access.
So private
internet
is you. Or is it? No, it's a VPN.
It's a VPN. It's a VPN service, and we're touted by, I forget, maybe EFF or somebody was promoting them at one point, saying, look, these guys get rid of your data, throw away the logs.
That's very important. No logging, very important.
No logging, because they could be, someone could compromise their system and get access to your data, which is, again, not something you want to have happen.
Right. Yeah, it makes me nervous, unless you're very careful. I mean, really, if you've got, you shouldn't, even with a VPN, if you're doing something that somebody in a coffee shop can see, as soon as you emerge from the VPN, in fact, and because of this compromise of the VPN, you're even kind of, I think, more at risk than you would be. So I feel like, don't oversell the value of VPN. You're getting the #1 reason, I think, which is geographic, removing geographic restrictions. Yeah. Hey, it's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Likewise.
And yeah, this is a nice little device. This is just one. I think a lot of companies make these.
Yes.
The AC.
I will check it out.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to give you, the same security as having a firewall.
Yep.
It blocks incoming traffic, and it's portable, and it just has some other advantages.
It's great.
PIA. I'll have to remember that one.
Yes.
Give that a try. Is it pretty fast?
It's very fast.
So you could watch streaming video on a BBC?
Absolutely. Well, no, my endpoints come out usually, because I check. I want to know.
You want to know where you're emerging.
Yeah, exactly. My endpoints usually come out in San Jose or Chicago. So
well, that's the other thing. Make sure that
local.
that your VPN emerges in the country you want to be from.
Exactly.
If they don't have a UK server, you're not going to get
And some
the benefit.
services are configurable to that extent, where you can say, I want to come out in UK, and some of them will even give you a list of endpoints where you can come out. I want to come out here, I want to come out here, I want to choose down to the IP
When do you use PIA?
Well, there are some times when I'm looking around the internet maybe for something to watch or something to do, and I want to use private internet access because I don't necessarily want all that to come back necessarily to my house.
Got it.
I'll be honest about that, right? There's some things, and everybody does this, right? There's some things where you go out and you want to take a look at something that maybe you missed on TV or something like that, and I'm just saying it happens.
Okay, say no more, say no more.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
But I mean, I would have to point out that it's a similar kind of use to say, I want BBC iPlayer, but I don't want to live in the UK.
Right.
The reason BBC doesn't make that available worldwide is it's paid for by license fees in the UK.
Yep.
And so you're bypassing also their restrictions. So there is still that same kind of ethical issue of you're kind of underhandedly really getting around those kinds of restrictions. I should also point out that the BBC and many others have gotten wise to VPNs, and you may find that it is not as easy to find someone that can let you run iPlayer in the US as it used to be.
Yeah, and I also use it for work.
They can tell you're on a VPN.
Yeah, I use VPN for work all the time, and lots of other people do. And the reason that big companies want you to go in through VPN is so that you get that encrypted link all the way back to their data center, so that you're not compromising your company's data.
Right.
That's a huge risk.
That's where we first became aware of it.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's also about authentication. Hey, it's great to talk to you. Congratulations on the podcast, Joe. It sounds like you got a great show. I'll be listening to it.
Check it out. Yeah.
All right. Take care. Moviewallahs.com. And if you would like to get on the show and hear our exact, elaborate, including illustrations, answers to your questions, here's how. It's quite beautiful, I think.
Need tech help? The new screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
Coming up, we're going to see a 3D scanner that you print with your 3D printer so you can scan things to print with your 3D printer. Did you scan the scanner? Because then...
Yeah, you could scan the scanner and then print those parts. Right. And then if you could automate the whole thing, we're talking Skynet.
Our show is brought... As soon as the scanner is building itself,
Yes,
then
you're in
talking
trouble.
Skynet. Our show today brought to you by Braintree Payments. If you're a mobile developer and you know you want to have a payment API, do not do it yourself. I know, you're smart. You could do it yourself. But why? When Braintree gives you every kind of payment, period, with 10 lines of code, you get great fraud protection and the customer confidence that maybe your hand-rolled solution might not give you. You know that 70% of all mobile carts are abandoned before the person pays the payment, hits the buy it now button. You don't want that to happen anymore. You want your customers to feel comfortable. And Braintree does it. There's no question. Braintree's used by the best in the business, including Uber, Lyft. When you have competitors using a product, you know it's good. Airbnb, Hotels Tonight, GitHub. You've used Braintree. If you use GitHub or any of those services, you've used it. What's the magic solution with Braintree? You get out with the Uber, you get out of the car, and the payment's done. That's the V.0 SDK at work. And by the way, you can take everything, Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards, even Bitcoin. And when a new payment solution comes along, it's easy to add it to your app. When Android Pay came out a couple of months ago, all you had to do was check a box in your control panel. It's in there. It's so easy. And if you're too busy to integrate it yourself, they'll even do it for you. Fast payouts, continuous support. You'll always be ready, whether you're earning your first dollar or your billionth. See fewer abandoned carts and more sales. Braintree's best-in-class mobile checkout experience. I want you to visit BraintreePayments.com/NSS. Oh, and I don't know who the decision maker is in your mobile app. Maybe it's you, but tell whoever it is, yourself, the boss, your first $50,000 in transactions will be fee-free. Try the sandbox. I think you'll like it. BraintreePayments.com/NSS. And we thank him so much for making the new screensavers possible. All right, we're going to take a look at that 3D scanner that you 3D print. But first, we talked about the hour of code. Here's Megan Maroney to show you a great way for kids to learn coding. Megan?
Thanks, Leo. If you are watching this right now, then chances are I do not need to tell you the value of teaching kids how to code. If you're a parent, an educator, or a caregiver, you might have already introduced your kids to camps or apps or websites designed specifically to introduce children to this super valuable skill that is only getting more valuable. But how do you get them to stick to it? One way is with Bitsbox. I am a big fan of Bitsbox, a monthly subscription that I've mentioned several shows in the past. Bitsbox sends kids coding projects, an activity book, and a toy once a month. You get all this stuff in the box and flashcards. The box is appropriate for kids of any age, but really designed for kids aged 6 through 12. Kids do the projects on a laptop, but they can make real apps for smartphones and tablets. You can check out bitsbox.com for more info on specifics and pricing. The reason I'm talking about it again now is that Computer Science Week is December 7th through the 13th, and Bitsbox has been training teachers worldwide to create their own Hour of Code event for 30,000 students. Bitsbox is also providing the boxes free of charge to teachers. Their hope is that those teachers will teach kids or other teachers, and those kids or teachers will teach other kids or teachers, and so on until everyone knows how to code. Back to you, Leo.
I like it. Bitsbox. Did you know about that? That's pretty cool.
I had heard about Bitsbox before. It's great, and especially because they send it to you. So there's nothing, you don't have to go anywhere or do anything. It just shows up at your door, and kids learn.
Do you code professionally? Is that part of your job?
No, I'm a hobbyist.
But you do it for fun.
I've been doing it for fun for 20 years.
There's something about doing it for fun. It's more fun.
It's more fun.
You don't have to grind away at it. But at the same time, one of the challenges when you're doing it for fun is coming up with new ideas, new things to work on.
Yep.
And that's always been one of the hardest things for me is, well, what should I know how to, I'm learning Lisp, but what should I write?
Right.
And so I like the idea of getting an assignment in the mail.
Exactly. Yeah, when you have a project, it becomes more engaging for kids.
It's a much bigger.
We talked about video games earlier. Another one of my favorite sites, actually, just to tag onto this here, is codecombat.org.
Yeah, I love that. I've played with that. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Kids really
it's a
get
game.
into it.
In effect, a first-person shooter that you play by coding.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
love that idea.
It's a great idea. So I just wanted to throw that in. There it is. My kids have done this. It's super easy. Yeah, it's fun. It is fun to play. It draws you in. So yeah. definitely check that out as well.
All right, you're of course a maker, and you like 3D printing. What kind of 3D printer do you use?
So we have in the makerspace, we have a Robo 3D.
Okay.
And it's not the best. We're actually getting 3 new ones this week.
Have fun.
Which are Creator Pros. They're a MakerBot clone.
Okay.
And we got them for cheap on eBay because they're broken. But at a makerspace, we
You
got
could
lots
fix
of people
everything.
that know how to fix those things. So so we'll be getting those. Much higher quality prints out of those, plus dual extruders and all kinds of fun stuff.
So one of the things that you need if you have a 3D printer is models to print. You need the kind of the 3D models that you're going to print with, and you can go and download those. There's websites where
Thingiverse, for example.
Yeah, very popular.
You can go download all kinds of stuff to print out.
Yeah. But if you want to make something that you own, you need a scanner.
You need a scanner, and they're very expensive in the open marketplace if you want a professional 3D scanner. And what these tools do is they allow you to put something on them, like this little PS2 to USB.
Yeah, let's say you
dongle.
wanted to make a new
Say you
one
wanted
of
to make that.
those.
They allow you to put this on a pedestal, a spinning turntable like this, and then they take a bunch of pictures, basically. And people have been doing this a while, even manually. If you have a good enough camera, you can actually go around the object, take pictures, and then stitch them together. It's a complicated process, so an easier way to do it, use a turntable like this with some lasers and a camera, and it will take the pictures for you. And because it's on a stepper motor, it'll increment this turntable to go around in precise steps so that you're taking thousands of pictures by the time you're done. And what gets output from this is a 3D model. So if it doesn't exist in Thingiverse, or if there's something particular you want to make a duplicate of, it makes it a lot easier to do that.
I mean, that's one of the cool things about 3D printing is you could replace parts,
Yes.
doorknobs, whatever that you don't have.
That's right.
But you need to be able to get an
You
image.
need to be able to get that source, right?
Yeah. I've heard of people fixing their dishwashers by making a new knob for
Sure.
it.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this scanner you built, you made, you 3D printed.
That's right. We printed most of the parts for this. This is the Atlas 3D, and it was a
Awesome.
Kickstarter program, Kickstarter project, and we backed it. It was, I think, like maybe $130, something like that. And the reason it was so cheap is because he didn't ship any of the infrastructure to build it. There was
You
no,
have to go buy it.
You print it. Yeah.
You print it.
You print it. All of this is 3D printed. So all he shipped was the lasers. He actually shipped a Raspberry Pi. That was optional.
Okay.
A small circuit board to power the motor and everything, and a camera. And everything else was 3D printed.
So the stuff you couldn't 3D print came with the kit.
Exactly.
But the designs, the models
He
for
made
these
all the
things.
designs and published them so
Very
that you
cool.
could just download those and print those out. So we did that, and we put everything together, and it works great.
That's really
It works
cool.
great, and you can buy them now. He's selling them retail if you want to buy one. And he's also offering, if you don't have a 3D printer, because that was part of the feedback he got was, well, this is great, but I don't
I
have a
need to
3D
print it.
printer.
Yeah.
So he's also offering the opportunity to buy, all of the parts, pre-made.
So can you show us how it works? Can
Yeah,
you make
absolutely.
A scan?
Well, we can do. I can show you some scans that I've already done.
Okay.
And I can show you the
Is this-
software.
How long does it take to do a scan?
It takes about 10 minutes
Okay.
to do a scan. So that's why I've done one ahead of
Yeah.
time to save us a little bit of time. This is the software that actually comes with it. Now, all of this is running on the Raspberry Pi, which is another little bit
that's
of
interesting.
ingenious methodology here, is that the Raspberry Pi is included not only to run the camera and the lasers, but it also runs the software you need to use the 3D scanner.
Even more inception.
Even more inception, exactly. So I can show you what this looks like. Here's one of the prints I did yesterday or 2 days ago. It'll take just a minute to load, but this is the output after it takes all of the pictures, rotates around. Here's what you get.
Oh, look at that.
You get this lovely looking model that you can then take out of this and put into a 3D modeling
Is it pretty
software.
accurate?
It's fairly accurate. Of course, a lot of it depends on the light conditions. So if you have a lot of light, you can adjust the laser levels down or up depending on the amount of light you
What's
have
the
on your model.
laser for?
So the laser is where the camera is going to focus to get a slice of the object. In other words, it's going to hit the object and it's going to bounce off, and that's what the camera is going to capture. And it's going to capture that, like I said, about 1,000 times.
So it captures the laser light that's
It's
bouncing
focusing
off
on
that
the laser
surface.
light. Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. And you get some really nice,
these are the-
really nice scans.
these are the
Those are the
lasers
lasers there.
right here, yeah.
Yep. And of course, we had to print those in red. for the lasers, right? It's
And
nice.
how precise, I would imagine, this is fairly precise,
It
right?
is more precise than you can imagine. I mean, like I said, the Robo 3D we have isn't the most precise printer, but it was able to print the recesses for the bolts, for example. You can't really see them here, but if you were to look underneath, if we were to turn it over, you would see the recesses that those hex bolts actually fit in.
Wow.
And it does it with such precision. I didn't have any problems with any of those recess points and any of the prints.
Is this
Really
PLA?
incredible.
What material
Yep,
are
this
you
is
using?
PLA.
Yeah.
You could also do ABS. We're actually working on a project right now to recycle ABS. We have a tear apart night. So we've torn apart some big printers and things, which are all ABS
And you
plastic
can
on
melt
the
down
outside.
the ABS?
You shred it, and then you put it through a like a corkscrew mechanism,
Yeah.
and it pushes it out to a hot end. And then you can
make
make
it
your own
filament again.
filament
Wow.
for
Wow.
the 3D print. Again, more inception
You
here,
can't
right?
do that with PLA, though.
You can't do it with PLA because it's corn-based,
Right.
And it doesn't recycle in the same way that ABS does. And of course, I should mention, since we're talking about it, you also have to be careful of fumes with ABS.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
more chemically
But
involved.
this is pretty hard and solid. I mean, this
It's
is
very
certainly
solid.
adequate to do the job for
Very
something like
solid,
this.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's a great little device, and I will say it's not how you would necessarily think of it at the outset, which is I'm going to do my scan and I'm going to take the file over to the 3D printer and I'm going to print it. It doesn't quite work
It's not that
way.
straightforward.
You need some 3D modeling software to be able to manipulate the model that you get. Here's a print that I did. I've actually brought in of this.
And is that good enough to use for this?
It probably would be. I had to take off the metal part at the top here
Yeah.
of this because what happened during the scan process, it reflected off the metal. So you would want to put some tape around that or
Matte
something.
finishes are better than
Matte
metal.
finishes are much better. So if you look at the 3D model of this, there's stuff scattered all over here because it didn't really know how to read that.
Now, somebody's asking a great question. I
Yeah.
mean, does this, obviously the turntable spins, does it
Yes.
raise?
No. Nope.
So how are we getting higher and lower?
There is a limit. The way that the lasers, so it's basically anything that the camera can see
Okay.
in that aperture, you can scan.
Okay.
So if we were to look, for example, at the camera
You can actually
in the
see
software,
the
you
output
can
of the
see how
camera.
much. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So that's what it looks like right now. If I tilt this down, you'll be able to see the.
So this is part of the setup process. You want
this
to
is
get
part
the
of the setup
object in
process.
view. Yeah.
So there's the object down there,
Right.
and you can see how much we would be able to get. You know, basically be able to get a little delay
Get a
here.
pretty tall object
Yeah,
there.
something about what 5-6 inches tall. And then as you adjust things, you can get taller. You can change the camera settings and get a little bit taller. So that's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep. So it's not for everything, but it'll scan a lot of things. And think about it. You really wouldn't want to print something that was much bigger than that,
No,
right?
that's true.
Not only will it take 24 hours to print, probably, but you're going to use up a whole spool of filament to get something that large. So.
And then there might be some cleanup in the software, and then you print it, and you've got a duplicate part, and you can
Yep.
drill out the
You
inside.
could
and
drill
put
out the
other
inside and
electronics in
use
there.
that right away. It's hard enough
really
and solid
cool.
enough. Now, it's not perfect, like I said. The more you play with it and the more you use it and tailor the software to do what you need it to do, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah.
One of the other great things, speaking of software, about this particular printer is that the software that runs on the Raspberry Pi to do the scanning is all open source.
That's neat.
So it's a great way for people to get involved with if they have an idea for making a better way to scan images. It would be a great project to get involved with from that angle as well.
This is the Atlas 3D scanner, $299, and that includes the electronics plus the plans.
Yep.
You need a 3D printer or need to be able to go to a makerspace to borrow a 3D printer.
That's right.
And then
Or if you don't have one, you can actually order the model that comes with everything.
He'll print it out
He'll print it
for
out
you.
for you, essentially,
Yeah.
and send it to you. That's right.
That's cool.
Yep.
Neat project. Thank you, Aaron Newcomb.
You bet.
You ready to play some video games?
Yes, I'm
You're a
always
gamer,
ready.
right?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite game?
Well, right now it's Star Wars Battlefront, but we're going to talk about that. in just a
Yeah,
minute,
I'm
so,
curious. I haven't
yeah.
bought it yet.
Yeah.
And I've heard mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll talk about that. Lauren Hawkinson will join us. But first, a word from IT Pro TV. If you're watching this, it's because you have an interest in technology, right? You have a technical mind. Maybe you are an IT professional. A lot of our viewers are. You know that keeping up with the skills and the job is a big part of what your job is. You also know that if you want to get a job in IT, you need to have those certs, right? I wish you didn't. It'd be nice if people would just trust you when you say, oh, no, I know how to do that. But usually they want you to take a test, get that cert. Well, here's how you get the certs. IT Pro TV. It's better than going to a technical school, a lot less expensive. It's even better than having a book, although you could do both and use this as an adjunct, as a study aid. But they have all the courses you need to get an A+ or a CCNA, an MCSA, CISSP, network security cert. You can get the Certified Ethical Hacker cert. They've got great courses from Sean Philip Oriano, crypto courses, desktop and server support for OS X, Windows, and Linux. They just added Cisco Firepower and advanced fireside administration courses taught by the guy, Todd Lamley. Updated CISSP is coming next week, December 14th. Adam Gordon will be back. 50 new hours each week. They've kind of topped us now. They've got 2 studios. See how great those look? I think they'll say, yeah, we were inspired. We were inspired by Tech TV and Twit. 1,000 hours of content online, more coming all the time, and you pay one low monthly subscription price for everything. Of course, once you get the cert, no hassle cancellation policy. Very easy to say, okay, I'm done. You may not want to, though, because you can keep these skills up to date. And your membership includes over 100 new step-by-step virtual machine labs. All you need is an HTML5 browser. You don't even need to own Windows to study Windows. You can also get the Transcender practice exams. Those are worth $109. That's free with your subscription. It's a great way to learn at your own pace, to track your progress. They have study sessions. They have a live chat room. You can ask questions while the shows are going on. In fact, you can watch the shows free with the basic account as long as you're watching live. Great way to kind of see what they're up to. And there is corporate and group pricing. Clients, university clients include Harvard, MIT, UCSD, Stanford. Check out itpro.tv/NSS. Upgrade your brain with the most popular IT certs. Premium subscriptions, normally very affordable, $57 a month. If you subscribe for a full year, you get 2 months free. But we got a good deal for you. Free 7-day trial when you sign up with the code NSS30, NSS30, and 30% off the lifetime of your account, forever. At that point, you're talking $40 a month, $399 for a year. It's less than one IT study guide per month. I mean, it's just a great deal. itpro.tv/NSS. Don't forget that offer code NSS30 to try it free for 7 days and 30% off for the life of your subscription. itpro TV. All right, Lauren Hawkinson is here with her trademark bow. She's going to talk about the games that are hot or not for the holidays. Aaron and I will weigh in as well. But first, Johnny Jet. He's going to help you find the best travel deals to go home for the holidays.
Hey, I'm Johnny Jet from JohnnyJet.com. Everyone's always asking me how they can find cheap flights. So here are 10 quick tips. Number 1, be flexible. You're not going to get a deal leaving Friday afternoon and returning on Sunday like everyone else wants to. So use those vacation days wisely. 2, stay away from the low-fare carriers. Even though it shows a really low price, you're actually going to end up paying more if you're checking a bag or even carrying a bag on. So always keep that in mind. 3, consider the time of day. Don't just put in you want to leave at 5 o'clock after work. Just leave it blank anytime. That way, if there's a flight early in the morning that's $200 cheaper, you'll definitely consider taking that. Use alternate airports. I created a website called alternateairports.com. It lists all the different driving directions, and all the major cities have them. For example, instead of flying to South Florida's Miami airport, look at Fort Lauderdale. It's usually a lot cheaper, and it's 25 miles away. So keep that in mind. Always look at non-stops and making one stop. Sometimes it's much cheaper to do a one stop, and if there's a family of 4, it might be worth it. So always look at both of those. And most importantly is look at all these different search tools. There's not just one website out there that has the cheapest flight. So I look at my website, obviously, JohnnyJet.com. I look at Google Flights.com's flight search. I look at Kayak, Orbitz, Expedia, them all. If you're going to price out Southwest, you have to go to Southwest.com. And keep in mind, Southwest actually gives you 2 free checked bags. So that's very important. You can hold on to airfares for 24 hours if they're originating from America. So keep that in mind. A lot of people don't realize that. If you book a ticket, you have 24 hours to change. The airlines, actually the U.S. government demands it. The only website that actually lets you hold it is American Airlines. So you can hold it for 24 hours. The other ones you have to book, but you can cancel within 24 hours. Use your frequent flyer miles and points very carefully. Especially during the holidays, you want to fly either on the holiday or around them, or book really far in advance, or actually even last minute. A lot of times you can use your frequent flyer miles last minute. So keep that in mind, and check me out at JohnnyJet.com or follow me on Instagram, Twitter at JohnnyJet. Thank you.
We love our Johnny Jet. Hey, Lauren Hawkinson is here from The Next Web. You're a gamer.
I am.
Serious gamer.
I am.
She's serious. She's brought a bunch of toys because this is going to be a gaming Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that pretty much when it comes to next-gen gaming consoles, they're now at a price and actually have a gaming library that is making parents stop and think that maybe now's the time to pick one up.
Yeah.
It's kind of hitting that peak now. Each of the consoles are really bringing something new, so if you're interested in getting one for the family or maybe getting one for yourself and saying that Santa's getting it for you, but if Santa's getting it for you, then you have your pick, depending on what you want.
So we have the big three consoles here. We've got a Nintendo Wii U. We've got my Xbox One. And whose PlayStation 4 did we borrow? Carson's PlayStation 4. So those are the big three. There's also Steam boxes and PCs. And I know, Aaron, you're a PC gamer, so you're going to look down your nose at this. Right. But there's something fun about having a game. You just put the game in, you turn on the TV, and you're ready to play. You don't have to configure your DirectX drivers. You don't have to get everything all working. And so I have to, even though maybe the screen quality isn't as good, the controls are very different, I like console gaming. So let's start with the Wii U, because I have to say, I think a lot of people, myself included, have looked down our noses at the Wii U, but I am more and more impressed. In fact, we got one for Michael, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, I agree. Well, right now, I think that the Wii U is at the best price it's ever been in terms of combination bundles and also deals, discount deals.
Yeah.
I mean, recently on Black Friday, their new Smash Splat bundle, which is a 32 gig Wii U console that also includes their Super Smash Brothers and Splatoon titles, both of which are very highly rated and also incredibly fun. That on Black Friday was on sale for $250, which is when I finally picked up my
it's a good
Wii U.
deal. That's a good deal.
But now it's actually on sale for $299, which is still a great deal given the fact that both the list price of Super Smash Brothers and Splatoon are still around $60.
Right.
So you're getting both games plus the console for still a really great deal. And yeah, I mean, I think that right now the Wii U has a really compelling set of library games in its library now. I think especially with the dawn of Super Mario Maker, their Christmas games are not so good.
Yeah.
They're titles that are coming out for Christmas.
But we've been playing Mario Kart and Mario World. They're great multiplayer games, so you can get 3 or 4 kids in there. The Wii U is a really interesting controller because it's almost like a tablet, and that goes with the standard Wii player, right? So this is just kind of an additional controller with a lot more features. The Wii U.
Yes, this is true, and also you can use this the big Wii controller, the big gamepad, to actually have littler kids participate in games.
Because they see it on the little screen.
They can see it on the little screen, but also they can have supporting roles that maybe aren't necessarily the platforming and the jumping around. For example, in the new Super Mario Brothers U, actually, they can help put little platforms down and they can help participate in a way. While they might not be big enough or have enough skills to sort of play the full game with lives and all of that, they can still sort of participate.
I like that.
Yeah.
So a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old who's not really maybe up to the game, but it can be participating. The little kid, little brother, little sister. So show us a game. What do you have on here?
Yes, absolutely. So I have Super Mario Maker, which is, it recently came out, I believe, just in November.
In our hour of code, this is kind of another kind of building game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, this is kind of a spiritual successor, in my opinion, to Mario Paint. You get a set of tools. You're allowed to look through and sort of pick things and create your own Mario level.
You can see the influence of Minecraft here with those 8-bit icons.
Yes.
They're obviously.
Yes.
The kids want low res. I don't understand.
Well,
that.
if you want to, you can actually change it on the fly. So I'm on Super Mario Brothers, but I can change this to Super Mario 3. I can also change this to Super Mario World.
Ooh.
And then finally, the new Super Mario Brothers U style.
So that's a 3D high quality image.
Yes, this is what was most recently on the Wii U, new Super Mario Brothers U. I personally enjoy the old style, particularly because it's really nostalgic to me. But you can really easily drag and drop icons and just put things on.
You have a kitty paw.
Yeah, I have a cat paw.
Do you get to choose that?
Yes, you do get to choose it. And it's really easy if you accidentally, get something on the screen you don't want, you might
Are you
erase
designing
it.
a level or are you drawing? What are you doing?
I am designing a level.
You
so
are?
I actually, in the time that you guys were discussing 3D printing, I just created a little level and I can just push play.
Can you play it? You can.
Yeah.
Lo, this is fun.
Nice.
Yikes. Oh, watch out, Mario. That's fun.
And you can.
And that is getting kids used to the idea. I mean, that's the first step in coding, isn't
Absolutely.
it? That kind of level.
Yeah, a lot of times it starts with map making. That's how
Right.
I took another leap in my programming abilities, was to getting involved in map making for
Probably
games.
that was Unreal Tournament or something like that.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah,
things.
so it's really easy, and you can play around, and you're not going to really see a winged chain chomp hanging around here, but I decided to put one in, and you can give anything wings, and
Look at that.
anything can
Fun.
swim, and you can just sort of decide exactly what you want to do. And if you're not somebody who's really keen on designing, you can actually go in and go to the course world, which actually shows the courses made both by official designers and
This is
also
online.
the community. Absolutely, this is online, but you actually have a special vetting system. In order to get a course onto Super Mario Maker Course World, you have to make it and then beat it, which is a great
important.
challenge. It's very
Absolutely.
important.
Because you could make a level that's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Yes, you could, but you have to clear it yourself or else you can't make it. So
Fair. That's
there's
fair
a lot of really great, compelling levels. And they also have these things called event courses where special guests will come in and play, design their own levels that you can play. And you can play them, again, this is online, but the course loading is really fast. And you're in it. This one
And this is a real level, a real game.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is called Yoshi is Awesome. It was an event course made recently.
Uh-oh, watch out.
You have to use Yoshi in all of the great Yoshi ways.
He got shot out from under you, but that was okay.
Yeah, there he is.
Look at that.
It's from a designer from Famitsu, which is a Japanese brand.
And then-
And you go up, and there's Yoshi. He's still on track, hanging out.
I'm impressed you
no.
could talk and play at the same time. I never can do that.
Not too bad.
You're right back on him.
There I am, back on him. So let's see. The issue is if you're used to the old physics
Yeah.
of the games, that's a slightly different because this is all based on the new Super Mario Bros. U physics. So now you have these giant flaming guys, and I'm just gonna spit some. Oh, lost him. This is important. You always need Yoshi for this one. I might. Yeah, man.
It's
Come
always
back.
the challenge to get back on Yoshi once you,
He
once you
runs
fall
away.
off.
Yeah. And I'm gonna take these dudes out. And I'm gonna get going. Oop, jump.
Watch out. There you go.
Now I'm gonna leave this dude behind, and I'm gonna go up here. And we're gonna do when I do this, I actually yell at the TV because it's incredibly important when you do so. Yoshi is immune to those saws, but you go down. Uh-oh, I might have missed it. Ultimate betrayal.
Yell at the TV. Ah! You stupid
But you can
TV.
actually see where other people have
Failed. That's what those
failed.
X's were?
Exactly.
A lot of people in that pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is it's a great
It
level.
makes you feel better about losing that level, yeah.
Yeah, and so you can just go through and you can play it
I
as
love
often as
this.
you want. It's really nice. And actually, I messed that up.
So there's essentially going to be an infinite number of levels as people create new ones. You'll never run out.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the name of this game?
This is Super Mario Maker.
And you can get it as part of the Smash Splat bundle?
No,
or
this is actually this is
You have to
its
buy this
own-
yourself,
Yes,
60
you have to buy it
bucks.
yourself. It's about 60
All right.
bucks, but it's really awesome. They have a lot of great courses.
I mean, I think of the Wii U as being for kids. Mm-hmm. But you obviously enjoy it.
I do.
Some nostalgic adults will like it because of the Mario games and the Final Fantasy games and things they grew up with.
Yes,
right?
well, Square no longer has a partnership with Nintendo, so Final Fantasy is actually not a brand that they have. We'll discuss that later when we get to Sony.
Shocking.
But actually, what it comes down to is Nintendo, for all of its shunning of third-party properties, has been able to really create this era of nostalgia. I mean, people really excited when Mario Maker came out because it was interacted with Mario in a new and different way.
Yeah.
Yoshi, they recently had Yoshi's Woolly World, which is actually on this table, which is the new installment of Yoshi's series where he's the main character. They even gave a game to Toad. He was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which was a lot of fun. So if you're really used to these characters, you can have, a great time with them. But Nintendo's actually still iterating on new properties as well. Splatoon was a new property that was it's Wii U exclusive, and it has really garnered a following by being that sort of first-person shooter style that Nintendo's really never tackled before.
Right.
and it's really good.
Lauren Hawkinson is with us from the Next Web. All right, the Wii U, great choice for kids,
Yes.
nostalgic adults.
Absolutely.
But the serious console gamers are going to say, of course, Xbox One versus PlayStation 4. And that is a
Yes.
bitter rivalry.
Yes, I agree. But when it comes down to brass tacks, I mean, what I always say when people are thinking about whether or not they want the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 is a couple of really important and core elements that will help you make the decision. For me, when people ask whether or not they like the Xbox One, what I say to them is, are you familiar with / love AAA titles that are pretty much about the modern era? We're talking Call of Duty, Tomb Raider, Fallout, Skyrim, Mass Effect.
Classics.
If you're really into those games, you are going to find them on...
Both of them, right? No?
No.
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 Not always.
Not
Xbox?
always. Not always. Well, Xbox, of course, has Halo. That's an exclusive.
Right.
They also have a timed exclusive on the new Tomb Raider game, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
That actually won't come to the PlayStation 4 until...
Exclusives used to be a big deal,
Yes.
though, and I think they're less of a big deal than they are. I mean, Gears of War, there are a few Halo, there are a few Microsoft exclusives. PlayStation has Uncharted, but it seems like unless you're a fan of those games, and if you are, you know which console to get.
Exactly.
That's not going to be a deciding factor.
No. What I would say is probably if you're interested in playing games from backwards compatibility, if you come from Xbox 360, Microsoft is actually working to make its games backwards compatible.
They finally added that just now.
Yes, just now.
Yeah.
And it only works for a certain class of games. I believe it's their gold games.
Right.
They're able to work on the Xbox One.
Slowly rolling out new ones.
It
but-
is slowly rolling
yeah.
out, which is a contrast to the Wii U, which had Wii games available at launch.
Right.
But what I say is that if you're interested in classic Xbox titles, that's
Right.
just going to be
Yeah.
it for you.
If you want to play Gears of War, you got no choice.
Absolutely.
And if you want to play Uncharted, you've got no choice. You got to get a PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
But I think that when it comes down to non-exclusive games, they're pretty similar, aren't they?
Hardware-wise, yes.
Yeah.
And in terms of
Capabilities.
software, it's different.
Okay.
First and foremost, if you like Minecraft, you should get the Xbox One because that's just going to be the best
'Cause it's owned by
expression.
Microsoft.
It's owned by Microsoft.
Right.
It's the best expression of Minecraft. And if anything changes to Minecraft or if they add stuff,
Comes
Minecraft
to
Story
Xbox
Mode
first.
comes to Xbox. And it's just a reliable way to get it
Right.
versus it's not even out on the Wii U.
There's another reason I like the X. I'm an Xbox One fanatic because I like the TV stuff. I can pass my TV through it. It has great TV capabilities. It's also in the PlayStation. In fact, I use the PlayStation 4 as my Blu-ray player in the living room, and the Xbox One is my Blu-ray player in the den. But I like the TV capabilities of the Xbox One marginally better.
Yeah.
Games, I think you could maybe make the argument the PlayStation 4 has maybe better titles. Yes? Are you nodding, Aaron?
I would think so,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
from what I've seen.
In my experience in looking over the PlayStation 4 library, the PlayStation is really Sony's really developed really excellent partnerships with indie titles, indie developers, and
I
also
agree. Things like Journey was so great.
Yes.
And that was an indie developer on the PlayStation, and I loved that game.
Absolutely. And people who are thinking about purchasing the PlayStation 4 will have things like No Man's Sky to look forward to next year, which is a beautiful, beautiful space development exploration game that has been really kind of mysterious. They've shown some trailers and stuff from it, and it is beautiful. It's beautiful. You can just hop in a spaceship and go to a new planet and explore it and see the flora and the fauna. And that's really exciting. They also, of course, have the Uncharted collection that's coming out. The new Uncharted is going to be a big
That's a great game
deal.
series. A really
absolutely.
impressive game series.
Absolutely. And I think that also PlayStation 4 and Sony, what they've really done is they've tried to develop a lot of really great partnerships with Japanese titles. And one of those, of course, is my favorite is Danganronpa is a Japanese title. If you're familiar with Japanese games, it's Persona 4 meets Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney meets just a little bit of Battle Royale, if you're familiar with it. And it's really exciting. It's a great game, and they're going to bring the third installment of that to the PlayStation 4 in Japan next year, and it's possible that they will release the other titles that were previously available on the PS Vita. So that's a really cool thing. But honestly, and I think that this is really the big elephant in the room here, is that within the next year, Sony is going to be coming out with a VR add-on to the PlayStation. The PlayStation VR will come out in Q1, or the first half, actually, the first half of
PlayStation
26.
VR, interesting.
Exactly, and you will be able to run PlayStation VR on your PlayStation 4 console. That's exactly what they're doing. Is it's basically a peripheral. You can add it on, plug it in, and start playing PlayStation VR games.
Wow.
Through the PlayStation 4 at the right levels, at the right bit rate, at the right speed, in order to make it a pleasurable experience. And they've been working on this for so long.
Microsoft's pretty far behind. HoloLens doesn't even go into developer mode until next year.
And this is on top of the great stuff. I mean, they have a new Psychonauts prequel coming out. They have the new remastered Final Fantasy VII coming out. They have one of my favorite games, actually, of all time, Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle. They just released that they were going to do an HD version of it, and that is so exciting. I don't know if you were familiar with that, but it is basically the gold standard in comedy-based point-and-click adventure games. That's my favorite, Day of the Tentacle for life. But they have a lot of really great games coming out, and I think that it again, it comes down to your preference. But if you like those games, if you like indie titles, if you like things like Psychonauts, then and you like VR, you're interested in VR, then that's definitely the way to go.
All right. Any reason to buy an Xbox One at all? I like my Xbox One.
No, there are plenty of reasons to buy an Xbox One.
All right. Okay.
It's again, it's all about preference. I don't think that either is better. I don't think that any of them are really. It's just all about your play style. And maybe you're not even a console gamer at all. Maybe you want to play PC.
Right.
And it's just a different experience. And I like playing in front of my television, and you like playing on your computer, and that's totally cool.
Is it PS4 that now that you can stream to your PC?
That's the Xbox One.
Xbox One
with
just
Windows
announced
10.
that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can stream.
And
now.
I'm not sure what the experience would be like because, of course, there's going to be some latency involved. But that's an interesting idea anyway. Well, I think if you wanted to play something like this is Fallout 4, you'd want to get the PC version of it on Steam and play it that way. I bought both, to be honest with you.
Provided you have a machine that is able to run it at the prettiest that Fallout 4 can get, then Fallout 4 really isn't that pretty, though.
It's not as pretty as people expected it to be based on the trailers, I will say that.
Well, it should be prettier, but it's nighttime right now, and it's just dark, and when it gets a little bit brighter, it'll be a lot prettier.
There was one knock against the game when it first came out. People right away.
It's kind of grim. Are you kidding?
It's grim, but it's also not quite as high quality graphics as people expected. They were expecting something more akin to the live action.
Some people were a little disappointed because compared to Fallout 3, perhaps it wasn't as much fun. I like the Pip-Boy feature, which allows me. And by the way, you can run the Pip-Boy on your smartphone to do things like look at maps and look at inventory, manage inventory, even choose which radio station you're listening to in the background. I think this is a fun game. It's an open universe, lots of stuff to collect. As we mentioned, it's Skyrim in a post-apocalyptic future. And you were telling me, Lauren, that the Pip-Boy Special Edition is back.
Yes,
They
it is.
sold out very quickly. I thought it was going to be launch only.
No, I think that they realized that they're going to get plenty of money from devoted fans, such as yourself, that they
because it's
decided
what
to...
is it, $120?
$120, yeah.
For a plastic wristband that you put your smartphone in.
Yeah, you're paying double for a Happy Meal toy, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, I think I'll just stick with my Pip-Boy. Lauren Hawkinson at The Next Web. Lots of fun games. You obviously are serious about this stuff.
Yeah, of course I am.
You're a hardcore gamer.
I love it. I love it.
And come back again, and we can look at some specific games. We had to kind of rush through a bunch of games here.
We should play Mario Kart when I come to Twit.
Play what?
Mario Kart when I come to Twit.
Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Four-way.
Do they have the little kid version where I could just be a helper? Because I'd play that. No?
No, but it's okay. We'll respect you.
No, you won't. One more question before you go.
Yes.
Because I am on the fence. I haven't bought Star Wars Battlefront yet. This is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game in which you could play the dark side, the light side. You get to all the Star Wars characters are in this. Is this worth getting? Should I download it?
If you can spend more than 2 hours at a game that is basically busted down to giggling at shooting at an AT-AT, then yes.
Doesn't sound like
there's
fun.
there's no first player. There's really limited.
It's online only,
maps
pretty much.
Still, it's pretty much online only.
Except for the tutorials.
Except for the tutorials.
Have you played it, Aaron?
I've played it. I just got it for my birthday. So I agree, and I probably the difference is that I haven't played it enough to get sick of it yet.
Yeah.
But my 16-year-old son's been playing the heck out of it, and he loves it.
It's for the real Star Wars
It's for
fan.
a Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah.
If you come at it from that aspect, we were talking earlier about this, and it is a little bit underwhelming if you compare it to the original Star Wars Battlefront that came out, what was it, 5 years ago or so?
Thereabouts.
There was better gameplay, right, in that version than there is this one. And a single player, especially with the new movie coming out, would have been fantastic.
Oh, let's do the scenario of the new movie, right?
Yeah, but I still enjoy it. So I'll offer a contrarian opinion.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. So I would say if you're a Star Wars fan, you should get it.
It's got some quality. You can force choke as Darth Vader, which what
that's
else do you
nice.
need to
It's
do in a
cool.
game?
It's fun.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, it's just crushing lackeys left and right. That's cool.
It
I
is
guess.
fun. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You haven't helped me. I don't know still if I want to buy. I think not. I'm going to stick with Fallout 4
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll keep you busy for a while.
for a long time. I got to build some beds for my settlers.
Ah.
I don't think a game where your quest is to build some beds is really dynamic.
That may
You
be
know what
going
I'm
a
saying?
step too far.
Yeah. What a view. Fetch. Our show today brought to you by Texture, the mobile app that lets you access the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere on your phone or your tablet. Used to be I'd be at the airport, I'd go to the airport bookstore, stock up on magazines, leave them on the plane because I didn't want to clutter my house with these. Now I get to read any magazine, any articles, anytime without clutter with Texture. You may have heard us talk about this as Next Issue. This is their new name. If you go to Texture, texture.com/NSS, you could try it for a month free. All access, it's kind of like Netflix for magazines. All access pass to your favorite magazines. You don't have to find the content you're looking for because their editorial team recommends stories based on what you like. Their curated collections allow you to delve deeper into articles from magazines like Fortune, Fast Company, Newsweek, Rolling Stone. See, there's always one article I want to read in Rolling Stone, one article I want to read in Fortune each month, but I don't want to subscribe or worse, buy the newsstand just for that one article. Well, I've got it all on my iPad. They download automatically so I can read them on the plane even without a Wi-Fi. And by the way, your magazines look exactly the same as if you bought them or subscribed to them, but with Texture, you get hundreds of additional options plus bonus features and at a much better price. The holidays are here. What a great gift for the magazine reader in your life. National Geographic, Popular Photography. Just look at the list of magazines. Your loved one gains unrestricted access to the world's best magazines, from back issues to the one on the newsstands today. With full access to the top magazines across just about every interest, Texture is the one present they'll open every day for the rest of the year. Texture, Texture, texture.com/NSS. And don't forget to, when you buy it for yourself, to maybe look at it for a loved one. We're going to answer your viewer mail in just a bit, but Padre shows you how to really feel those explosions when you watch movies on your tablet. Padre?
With today's haptic technology, it would seem that touch would be the natural next level of our entertainment, but it's difficult to do touch without it looking corny, which is why we're speaking with Chris from Immersion, who's going to explain how you do it right. Chris, what is Immersion?
Immersion is a company that develops touch solutions for consumer electronics devices. We've been in business for 22 years, and we're in more than 3 billion devices use our touch technology.
Now, I've seen touch-related entertainment. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I was watching The Martian. It's a new movie that just came out, and I was in one of those setups that had the chairs that would buck, and it was kind of nice, but it also at times felt just so artificial. And I think it's a very fine line between giving someone something that adds to the experience and giving something that just feels gimmicky. Where do you find that line?
So it's as you said, it's a tough decision. What you have to do is figure out how are you going to use the sense of touch to create a new level or add some value to the experience without crossing that line into corniness, right? And so what we try to look at is, can haptics be used to reflect like an explosion? That's an obvious one. If something's blowing up or something's crashing, easy, no-brainer, right? You want to put tactile feedback on that. But you can also use it to set mood, right? So think about using a subwoofer in a theater to create a kind of a tension in a horror movie, right? You can use haptics in the same way to create tension in a mobile video experience. The other way that we use it is we think about what is the actor or the protagonist in the scene, what are they doing, right? How can we reflect their touch experience back to the viewer so that they feel more immersed, more engaged, more present in the film?
Of course, we could talk about touch and haptics until we're blue in the face, and our audience still wouldn't get it. Thankfully, they have a place where they can go to download an app that will actually show the work that Immersion has done to make touch real. Where do they go to find this?
So this is on the Google Play Store. This is the content portal application, and there's a QR code that I can give you for later. But essentially, this app allows you to download a little viewer or player that shows you a video of like a roller coaster experience where you feel like you're on a roller coaster.
I want to thank you again for speaking with us. If they want to find out more about Immersion, where can they go?
www.immersion.com.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer here at the Holiday Spectacular, and the future is going to reach out and touch you.
I hope not. Keep your hands off me, future. Aaron, we're wrapping up the show. It's been a great show.
Yeah, it really
a lot of
has
good maker
been.
stuff.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, I want to get our mailbag. We like to end up with a couple of emails and, of course, a box of low-sodium potato pancakes because Hanukkah is just around the corner. Why do they keep putting food in my mailbox? Especially stuff I can't eat. Here, one for you.
Thank you.
One for me. Why don't you start? Because I think it's right up your alley.
All right. So this is from, this says, hey, screensavers, could use a little help here. Believe it or not, Google has been supporting the CR48, which was, as you know, the original
The first one, the one they
Chromebook
gave away
that they
at
gave
Google
away
I/O,
at
yeah.
Google I/O. That changes in December.
Ooh.
So personally, I'd long since flashed a generic BIOS and puttered around with Linux to make a general backup box. Now the hardware is about to lose official Google support. Now what? I realize it's slow, single core and Intel graphics, but what options exist for anyone that wants to continue using the hardware for something productive? Personal plan, since I've recently gotten a better lifeboat situation, so might get a decoder card and turn it into a Kodi box, that's a great option, for a spare TV, but something about that feels unsatisfying, especially in the face of what we were talking about earlier, Raspberry Pi, likely outdoing it and having a much nicer compact package. Suggestions, guys? That's from Andrew Singleton of Rock Island, Tennessee.
What was the processor in the CR40? I don't remember that.
it was
I'm
ARM.
amazed he was able to do anything with it at all.
Yeah.
So you can turn those old Chromebooks into a Linux box.
Yes, you can root them, load your own image on them.
Okay.
Which is good, but he's right. Some of the new stuff coming out is more powerful.
Right.
What I've done, not with that, but I agree with him. It may not be a great way to go to reuse that. He may want to look at something like a Raspberry Pi clone that you can load Android on and turn that into an Android TV device. But there's no reason really why he should quit using this.
Right.
I mean, even though it's not under support, it'll still work.
Well,
it's not
and-
like they're turning it off on him.
And because he's not even running Chrome OS, who cares whether they
At this
support
point-
Chrome OS?
at this point, it
It's
doesn't
not an
matter.
issue.
Right.
I didn't realize they were actually killing support for the CR48.
Yeah, I had heard that.
That is an old clunker.
Yep.
But the first Chromebook, and I think for that reason, historic. It comes a time with all hardware where it's time to ditch it or find this is what you need, some low-end application for it.
That's right.
Where you don't mind if it's in a closet
Right,
somewhere
right.
and just humming away doing something. I think you've already got it doing.
I think
if you got
it's-
it running Linux, you already got it doing everything. else.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think he would probably be underwhelmed at the performance. If he loaded Kodi and he wanted to actually decode TV stations, live TV, I think it would be kind of tough.
Yeah,
And there's a lot
Intel
better and
graphics,
cheaper
there it
options.
is.
I mean, even a Chromecast.
So it's an Atom processor, not very fast, 1.6 gigahertz. The real issue, 2 gigs of RAM.
Yep.
And of course, the Intel motherboard graphics are not fantastic. It's not a super high-end machine nowadays.
Actually, it's surprising that they've supported it for this long, in my opinion, especially since it was a prototype.
It wasn't ever meant to be a product. It was a giveaway. Yeah.
Right.
What do you think about these, says Riley, these powered rooftop TV antennas? My desire is to cut the cable for TV watching. I know I need an internet provider for computer use, but I have ATT Uverse with their 200 plus channels. At my age, 71, I don't watch but 3 or 4 channels, and by mistake, I'm locked in for the next year. Mostly I listen to iHeartRadio. So the reason you have a powered antenna is, the best deal in television right now is over-the-air, OTA, TV. The high definition video you're getting from OTA is better than you're getting on a satellite or cable provider. It's not as compressed, and it's free.
Absolutely.
And so as long as you're near enough to the big city and you can get that, I think it's a great deal. The reason you have motorized antennas is because in some areas, you might have a signal coming from the north and another from the south. So you rotate the antenna to get the best reception north and south. Remember, you need a digital antenna because these broadcast signals are no longer on the old VHF frequencies. They're on the newer UHF frequencies. So you're looking for digital antennas. Those generally don't look like the old television antennas you see on rooftops. They usually look like kind of more like they're directional, kind of pointed. There you go. Look at that. The Sky 60 Attic. That is not what you typically think of as an antenna.
Right.
But the rotation is only necessary if you have to get a signal from somewhere else. You'll find out best, I would say, at antenna.org.
Yes.
Figure out what channels you want to get. Go to antenna.org. You enter in your zip code. You tell it where you are. It knows in the database where different towers are for the different stations, and it'll tell you exactly what the best antenna would be and whether you need one that rotates. You may not.
May not.
In most metros now, most of the signals come from a single area. In San Francisco, it's from Sutra Tower, Mount Wilson, I think, in LA area. And so as long as you can see the main one where most of the stations are, that may be all you need. That's antennaweb.org. It's the National Association of Broadcasters and the Consumer Electronics Association.
And there are cheaper options also for antennas. We reviewed one, I think, on Before You Buy. I think it's called the Flatwave, if I'm not mistaken. Great little antenna. It hangs in your window or behind your TV. You can keep it concealed. And if
it might be enough.
It may be enough. You may not have to get an expensive antenna. At least try it. Try it and see if it works for you. It works for me. That's what I use at home.
If the broadcast cable signals are all you need, then I guess the one extra thing you might want is a DVR, the ability to record. Right. Of course, you get that now from UVerse. When you give up UVerse, when you cut the cable, actually, I wonder, are you going to still want the internet? Maybe you won't be giving up UVerse, but you could give up the television portion. There are third-party DVRs. Channel Master is one that will let you record over-the-air signals. There's no monthly fee for that. You get the television guide for free. That's a good choice. Channel Master, HD Home Run. A lot of people use that from Silicon Dust as another way to record using your PC. Depends how geeky you want to get. Sounds like you're simplifying. That's good.
Yeah,
go out, get some fresh air, take a walk. You
don't get
need
up on that roof.
Channels. And whatever you do,
be careful.
Get off the roof. Yeah, it's funny. I don't think you don't see roof antennas as much as you used to now.
Nope.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Aaron, I want to thank you for coming by with your wacky Star Wars T-shirt.
Yeah.
Was that a birthday gift?
This was a birthday gift from my lovely wife. She got this for me.
It's a yearbook, most likely to
shoot first. Han Solo. Where is he? Oh, he's on this side.
It's a trap.
Yeah, shoot first.
Admiral
it's a trap.
Akbar.
Most likely to be your boss, of course, is Darth Vader. I love these superlatives. They're great.
That's funny. That's right, superlatives. That's what
most
they call
likely
them.
to arg. Yeah, of course, that's Chewbacca. Yeah. Good stuff.
Are you
Thanks
excited
for having
about
me
the
on.
new Star Wars? It's only 2 weeks off.
Oh, yeah. We've got tickets to go. Actually, we still got them, but we had a conflict. We were going to go opening day, and then turns out we can't. So we're
I won't
all
tell
bummed
you.
out.
We've got 22 people going from the office.
Nice.
On December 18th, opening day. I think one of the first shows. So we'll know, but we won't tell you.
Yeah, don't no spoilers,
no spoilers,
please. Actually, a friend of ours in the makerspace, you may be interested. He's building his own BB-8 out of Raspberry Pi and Arduino, and he's built R2D2s before and is really good at it. Really talented guy.
Wow,
so
that's cool. How fun is that?
Maybe he'll let me borrow it and bring it over.
Where's
someday.
the maker's? I am your boss,
Nice.
Luke. What? Luke, I am your boss. Yeah, can you stay for the weekend? We got some TP8s we want you to. Hey, what makerspace do you use so we can?
It's Benicia Makerspace. It's the makerspace I founded and run over in Benicia.
Oh, you run it.
Yes, absolutely. So if anybody's in that area, from Sacramento down to maybe Walnut Creek area, and you want to join us at the makerspace, everyone's always welcome. And then you can become a member and actually use all the tools and the 3D scanner, for example,
so
the 3D
fantastic.
printer. You can come join us. We do all sorts of fun stuff.
I just love this stuff.
It's great. It's great.
Well, we thank you and we thank your family for letting you spend some Saturday time, some quality time with us for the new Screen
I will pass
Savers.
that on.
Thank
Yes,
them.
definitely.
I appreciate it. And if you'd like to spend some quality time with the show, we do it every Saturday afternoon around about 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2300 UTC. Tune in live. You can be in the chat room. We love having you here. But if you can't, we can always make it available on demand for you. Just go to youtube.com/newscreensavers or twit.tv/NSS or iTunes or wherever you get your shows. We're everywhere, including 4 Apple TV apps. And Mike now has one that has the chat room in it and everything. So
Nice.
if you've got an Apple TV, it might be the best way to watch the show. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on the new Screensavers. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.